All right, here we go. Are we ready? Excellent. So, before we embark upon our first panel, first I want to just remind everybody there will be time for questions, so be thinking about your questions. We have 2 mics up here in the front, so for the last about 20 minutes, we will ask folks to come up. Please don't be shy to ask any thoughtful questions. Be respectful always, but we have amazing panelists that I know you're going to want to glean some really great, important information from. So please be mindful of that. But we're really lucky today, and we're continuing to provide some inspiring messages to this wonderful group and to keep us all united and purposeful and inspired for the day. Ambassador Tiffany Lancaster is here, and she is serving as one of the panels, but she has a poem for us, our class of gold medalists, and I would like to welcome her to recite this poem to set the tone for the rest of the day, because we're very blessed to have her with us. Ambassador.
Good morning, students. How are you all today? Okay, I'm gonna ask y'all again. How y'all doing today? That's what I'm talking about. Get excited. This is a major moment for you all. You all have no idea what key that you all hold right now, but you're about to find out. Just know that everything that you do is leading you towards your passion, which pushes you towards your purpose. I want you all to say, my passion pushes me towards my purpose. It's not by accident that I'm here today. And this poem is entitled Passion. Passion. P equals persistence, push, perseverance, and pressure. A equals absence from negative people, places, and things. S equals selfless, sacrifice, and sufficient, because that's what you are, a star. But it doesn't happen without S equals sacrifice and savings minus steady income. I equals I, meaning yourself, because no one will believe in your dream more than you. And because sometimes no one else is left, and the only one who believes in you is you. O equals outrageous stunts pulled by people around you who may want to be you, including some people who may want to bring you down, demolish your reputation, and take you out. N equals now. Move on it now. Be in the now. Whatever the noun. Nanny, none, narrator, note taker, notary, novel writer, nugget digger, national politician, Neptune explorer, Nefertiti historian, non-abortionist activist, negativity healer, near-death expert, Nike tester, Nissan factory worker, non-abolitionist, non-judgmentalist, and nice person. This is your passion. What you haven't found in this list, create. Don't debate the evidence of your life. Your passion is that thing that you do with ease. It's that thing that you would do without thinking twice. It's that thing that you would do without being paid or offered a high price. This is your life passion. Thank you all very much.
Okay, so we're going to wake up to that every day. Yeah, I know some of y'all recorded it. It's what we're going to do. It's our mantra. So I'm inviting our panelists to please stand in front of the tables before you sit. We're going to do a quick group shot. And with that, I will turn things over to our Vice Chair, Mr. John Mason.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I first want to, on behalf of the Board of Directors for the Congressional Award Foundation, welcome all of you to the nation's capital. I know for some of y'all this is your first time in DC, so one, I want to say thank you for coming along this journey with Congressional Award. This is only a step in what will be a phenomenal road for you all, and thank you for entrusting and engaging with us as part of your journey. We have a phenomenal panel here today who's going to share some of the ways that they have kind of gone through their road in their career path. And I'm excited about the Q&A, so we will have time for you to ask questions. I do have some questions that I want to ask them just because I want to know more about their journey as well. One, just to talk a little bit about me. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised. I grew up in the projects and then got to work at various areas in business. I worked for a congressman out of New York. I worked for the Department of Agriculture and then a Fortune 200 company. So I've been able to kind of move my way and learn from the people around me and really honed in on skills that were built through my family, my friends, and also my school. That really grounded me into where I am today to be vice chair of the Congressional Award Foundation. So today we have a phenomenal panel that we'll talk about some of the career pathways. I'm going to give each panelist an opportunity to talk about their career, their journey, and then we'll go through some Q&A. So I first want to start out with my fellow board member, Mateo. Thank you so much for being here. Can you talk a little bit about your journey and how you got here?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, good morning, buenos dias. And I wish I could say it in more different languages. Actually, can you all just share good morning in your language, whatever languages you speak, English, Spanish? Can y'all just say good morning in your language? Yes, that too. Yes, good morning, hello. Okay, 1, 2, 3, say it.
Yeah, bro, got it.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's so beautiful. Well, first of all, it is an incredible pleasure to be with you all this morning. I get really passionate, so John, please stop me. Says, come on, land the plane. We're going to say, land the plane, okay? That's going to be our sign language, is land the plane. But just to share with you a little bit about me, so I had the incredible honor of receiving the Congressional Gold Medal myself. I'm not going to say what year, but I did a few years ago. And it was very interesting because during that time, I was actually facing one of the most challenging years of my life. I was living in a homeless shelter with my elderly mother and my mentally disabled sister. And so here I was working in DC. I was actually selected to do an internship, and I ended up becoming the press secretary for the White House. And so here I was, I'm like, and nobody knew my situation. And I had a mentor of mine go and we went thrift shopping. Man, I was the best looking intern there was in DC. Let me tell you, I'm still looking good. Okay, let it be clear. Let it be clear. But during that time, I received, and so I'll share with you all just a little bit about my background pertaining to maybe the journey that you are right now. I got selected to be a Jack Kent Cooke Scholar. So for those of y'all that are looking into scholarships, I highly encourage you all to look into that. It is one of the most generous, oh, is it this one? Okay.
Feedback, so I just want to.
Oh, perfect. Is this better, everybody? Let's see. Testing 1, 2. Is that good? Turn that off. Okay, awesome. And maybe I have my teacher voice on too, you all, so sometimes my professor voice comes out. So where was I?
Jack Kent.
Jack Kent Cooke. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad y'all listening. Thank you. Okay, so Jack Kent Cooke. So it is one of the most generous scholarships in the United States. And so for those of y'all that may be interested, it covers all the way up to your doctoral studies. And we'll dive into a little bit more into that. But anyways, if y'all wish. So I became a Jack Kent Cooke Scholar and got accepted to some of the most prestigious schools in the world, Harvard, Yale, Columbia. And I decided to go to Southern Methodist University. And everybody's like, are you crazy? Why would you choose that over all these incredible schools? And so one of the things that I encourage you all to do, young people, is to always, when we were talking, Dr. Lancaster was talking about following your passion. Sometimes you gotta reduce the noise in your life and listen to your heart. And little did I know that I would one day, after graduating from SMU, I would become one of the youngest assistant dean and started the first office of community engagement. And so more to come on that. But so that was kind of just a brief background on my short journey, and there's a lot more to share, but I'll stop because I have some incredible esteemed panelists here with me that I'm sure I actually want to hear from them too. So.
Yeah, I'm as interested as you are in our panelists too. Now I'd like to turn it over to what I call an icon, the civil rights leader, Dr. Ben Chavis, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. I bring you greetings from the National Newspaper Publishers Association, we're a trade association that represents African American-owned media, newspapers, websites, social media. I'm a native of Oxford, North Carolina. I went to UNC undergrad in chemistry, organic chemist. I got my master's degree from Duke University in divinity, a doctorate degree from Howard University. But my background is really civil rights. I'm so pleased and honored to see so many young people here this morning. At the age of 14, I was working for the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as the youth coordinator for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, in my home state of North Carolina. I was privileged to work with Dr. King from 1963 to 1968 when he was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4th, 1968. One of the things I want to say about your opportunity today, America offers so many opportunities, even while you're young. And I agree with my fellow panelists. You have to have passion, you have to have a sort of perseverance. And one of the things before I pass the mic on, is just I want to say something about where we are in 2025. I could talk to you about what it was like to be in the civil rights movement when we finally got the Civil Rights Bill in 1964, the Voting Rights Bill in 1965, or the Fair Housing Bill in 1968. Great stories. But I want to talk about now. I'm looking out at this audience. It's very diverse. It's very representative of who we are today as Americans. For the last 65 years, I've been involved in the racial justice movement, civil rights movement, human rights movement. I coined the term environmental racism, so I've been involved in environmental and climate justice. But this is what I want to say.
Let's try this, sorry.
Got feedback?
Yeah.
Thank you. This is what I want to say.
Yes.
In truth, there's only one race, and that's the human race. In truth, we're all part of one human family. And if that is true, why are we so divisive? Why are we so polarized? We need to be able to embrace one another and find common ground with the oneness of our humanity. If we do that, all the doors are not only open to you, but you all would be successful. God bless you all. We are honored to be in your presence.
Thank you, Dr. Chavis. Now I'd like to turn it over to just such a dynamic woman. I got to meet her earlier today for the first time, and I'm a little sad because I wish I met her before, but the Honorable Ambassador, Dr. Lancaster, I'll let you talk a little bit about your journey.
Sure. So I had very humble beginnings. I am, and currently I'm an ambassador with the United Nations. I work for the ECOSOC Council, which is the Economic and Social Council. I do a lot of advocacy for women and girls and children, but, you know, equal rights, following in the legacy of Dr. Ben, who I grew up watching and inspired me as a little girl. But my beginnings were very humble. I was an orphan foster child and adopted. I was trafficked as a child. And so I had a tumultuous experience. My life didn't take the normal path. And that's what I came here today to say, that your path may be different, but it doesn't mean that you can't get to where you're going. I want you all to know it's very important that you understand how much you are needed in society. You are needed. All races, all colors, all creeds, all sexual orientations. Do not look at people and judge them from the outside. Look at people's heart. People have spirit. Your job is to inspire. Use your story to inspire others. Make sure that love is what's leading you, not money, not power, not titles. All of those things will fade. The only thing left will be love. In my career, I have had to find myself over and over again, because along the path, you will have a lot of peer pressure. You will see a lot of people competing. Understand, run your own race. If you want to compete with someone, compete with yourself. Compete to be better than you were yesterday. Compete to be better than what you see on TV and in media. Don't follow media. Create your own narrative. You are here today because you decided and made a choice to be yourself and do what you love. Let it start that way, and may it finish that way. If I can go from being an orphan and a foster child and adopted, not to this day knowing my parents, and become a United Nations ambassador, a commissioner with the DC Mayor's Office as an appointee, a former DNC State Committee woman, all of these things, I did not take the general path. I wasn't that great at school. I was a great writer. I was a great performer. I was a great poet. But poetry didn't pay back in my parents' day. So they said, you need to get you a job. And so you do have to be practical with your passion and your purpose and your dream. Be in the clouds. Keep your head in the clouds and look high and aim high. You can do anything. I'm here to tell you can do anything. But you must have a backup plan. Make sure that you have something sustainable developed in your life that you always can fall back on. And as the times change, and they're changing every day before our eyes, understand that's the world's narrative, that's not your narrative. Take control. Hold the reins. Don't let others control you. And know that you are important. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. I'll start out with kind of my first question, Mateo. So can you talk a little bit about, what hurdles did you have to overcome to get to your current position? How was those obstacles? How did you kind of navigate those waters?
So first of all, thank you, Dr. Lancaster. Thank you for touching my heart and talking about love. So some of the hurdles that I had to overcome, I think for me it was the battlefield of my mind. Right, because it's one thing that you have to overcome some of the obstacles that you have to that life brings you. And one of the things that I share with my students is one thing that you can change when you enter these doors is that you do have control. Because I work a lot with our homeless youth population in high school, that they were just foster care. Some of our students that are part of the Army, the children of our Army vets. And what I share with them is the one thing that you can change when you enter these doors is your attitude. That is the only thing you have control of. And so one of the obstacles for me was just overcoming everything that has been ever told to me because of my upbringing, because of what my father did and what have you. So a lot of those things that I had to overcome. And one of the things, my mantra has always been, you cannot change. Actually, let me bring it in. I cannot change where I've been, but I can change where I am going. Yeah. And actually, can y'all repeat that after me? Say, make it personal. Say, I cannot change. Nah, I don't believe y'all at all. Okay, hold on. Okay, y'all, I know y'all were just warming up. All right, I want to hear y'all all the way in the back say, I cannot change where I've been, but I can change where I'm going. So that is the attitude that I take. So lesson number one was I cannot change where I've been, but I can change where I'm going. Lesson number two, in overcoming those obstacles, because sometimes I had to remind myself that I am not where I live. I am not my zip code. Although I am living in a homeless shelter, that is not who I am. I am so much greater than that. And actually, one of the greatest professors that I had was actually a former homeless person that was living with me. He said, Mateo, all of us are only one slip away from becoming homeless. And I'm like, excuse me? We're only one slip away saying that you have just been diagnosed with cancer. One slip away that person you've been living with for 30 years all of a sudden says, I don't want to be with you anymore. We're one slip away when you receive that notification that your mom and your dad died in a car accident. We're all one slip away. And I realized, and this person that I was with, he was a high executive at AT&T and lost everything because of one slip of paper, a divorce paper, and his world was turned upside down. And so what I learned about all these obstacles is what are we going to do with those obstacles, right? And for me, we were talking about purpose earlier. And for me, it's all those things that happen. And I don't believe that it happens to me, it happens for me. And I am so grateful for those things because that is what has developed our character. And when I see across this auditorium, I see the incredible congressional gold medalists. And you know, everybody wants your glory, but they don't want your story.
Tell them.
They don't want to wake up and sacrifice and invest in your community. So young people, I commend you for that. And last thing, so what do I do now for a living? So I started off actually, I never thought, it was after I left becoming an assistant dean, I was asked to go speak around the country. And my boss said, go do what you love, sir. Go do what you love. Go become a public speaker. And y'all, I didn't know you can make a living becoming a public speaker. I said, what? And I became a multimillionaire. I was a spokesperson for the Dallas Cowboys. McDonald's hired me to become one of their spokespersons, and Ford. And so I literally traveled around the globe from China to Japan to Africa and just talking. And one of the things, and I'll leave you all with this at the last minute. What was interesting is that when I was little, people would make fun of the way that I speak. They're like, well, why is your voice so deep? Oh, and they would throw all kinds of words thinking that they were going to knock me down, you all. But it's interesting because whatever that thing is that people make fun of you as a child, that's what you're meant to do. You are never, if I would have listened to what other people would say about me, y'all, I become the VOG. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, y'all, please. So whatever it is that people are trying to knock you down right now, keep doing that. Keep doing that because within it is where you will find your gifts and your talents. And I never knew that I could get paid just to say words when people were trying to shut me down, and shut me up. So use your voice, and you never know where it's going to lead you.
See, now I'm going to have Mateo speak at all the board meetings moving forward because he's going to ignite it up. But my next question goes to Dr. Chavis. Can you talk about a little bit about a moment that unexpectedly shaped your career? You talked a little bit about how you were very much involved in a leader in the civil rights movement, but is there a moment that shaped your career, and how did that lead you to growth?
Thank you. Well, there have been many moments, but I'll try to share those moments that connect with our audience today. When I grew up in Oxford, North Carolina, eastern North Carolina, everything was racially segregated. And growing up, my biggest hurdle was trying to meet the expectations of my parents. My parents were school teachers. My mother taught me in the 6th grade. I probably got more spankings than anybody else because she made an example of me not acting up in class but sticking to the books. But I started writing for the Carolina Times, an African-American newspaper in Durham, North Carolina, when I was in the 6th grade. I was 11 years old. And the most fundamental human right is the right of self-expression, the right to express yourself out of your own family, community, cultural, national context. Never be ashamed of how God brought you into this world. Never be ashamed of your family, of your community. Represent your family and your community. So to answer the question, by the time I was 14, working with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., that was a true story. The March on Washington was on August of 1963. My job in North Carolina was to get young people to attend the march. And we raised some money, chartered some buses. On the day before the march, all the bus companies canceled our contracts. So as a young organizer, I had to figure out how I'm going to get several hundred young people to Washington, D.C. with no bus. Because of the discrimination that was going on in my county, there were 3 school systems, one for whites, one for coloreds, one for Indians. And so because in the colored school system, they allowed bus drivers to keep their buses at home. Students drove the school buses. So I deputized the school buses, filled up the gas tank, and we took Granville County school buses to the March on Washington and had 400 young people to experience hearing Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. So it takes determination. As my colleagues have said, you're always going to face a headwind. There will always be resistance. But don't let resistance shape who you are. If anything, resistance can help you not only self-express yourself, and I'm not saying go out and try to find resistance, that'll happen. But point I'm trying to make is you do have to have goals and objectives. And it's okay to change your goals and objectives. But never wake up in the morning or go to sleep at night without having a goal that you want to achieve, even while you're young. Last thing I would say is, because it may not come up during the question and answer, we cannot change the past, but we can learn from it. And one of the things I've learned from the past is that when there is a parallel, when we get paralyzed in our society over issues like DEI, like critical race theory, like affirmative action, one of the things I've learned is we don't have to be wedded to the nomenclature of the past, the wording of the past. So a few weeks ago, I had an intergenerational meeting with my family. My family's been in Oxford, in the same land for 200 years. So my great-great-great-great-grandfather fought in the Revolutionary War. Been around Carolinas for a long time, seen a lot. So I asked the young people in my family, a couple of hundred of them now, what if you could replace DEI, what would you replace it with? What would you replace diversity, equity, and inclusion with? And they unanimously said merit, advancement, and opportunity. You should always strive to be your best. Strive to be meritorious. And I guarantee you, your own success is in your own hands. As the future leaders, not just of your family or community, I'm looking at some of the future leaders of America. And if you become a leader of America, you become a leader of the world. Express yourself, have perseverance, and don't let anyone dissuade you or make you feel that your situation is hopeless. You're in charge of your future. Learn from the past, and let's work together. When you go out of here today, I'm hoping that you will be reconvinced, not only of your life's purpose, but be re-energized to go out and let, as we should say in the civil rights movement, let nobody turn you around. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Travis. Ambassador, you spoke earlier with so much passion. Can you talk about how do you recommend balancing kind of the passion with career planning? You know, both of those kind of in the same, and I think all the panelists have talked about their passion for, their work. And how do you balance those two?
Passion takes practicality. So you decide what you want to do, and then you take classes, you take courses, you go to school, you get certified. You don't have to necessarily go to school. You can get certifications. You can do Google certifications. You want to do what you love, but apply the education to it. The systems are changing. Technology, AI is booming. So you want to stay current with the latest trends. If you're not familiar with things, get with people that do understand those things, get mentors. You want to kind of stay at the top of your game with what your passion is and understand the market. Apply what you love to what you need to know. It's just like, and I think, with the career, the pathways, talking about the interviewing process. When you go into the interviewing process, you first research the company. You may be passionate about it because that's something that you would love, that's a company that you would love to work for. That's something that, has piqued your interest. But you do need to study the company or the corporation before you go in. You need to understand what their values are, what their morals are, what is the foundation, who started the company, what did they believe, what made them start the company. All of those things are the practical things. And you want to format your answers when you taking your interview to that which matches the company's values. And so you want to dream, but you don't want to be flighty. It's just like my dad said, you need to get a job. Poetry is not gonna make you money. Well, it's making me money now, but again, times have changed. And poetry is a big thing now, where it wasn't before. Just like, before women didn't have the WNBA, so he was right in what he said, and I didn't like what he said. And it didn't mean that I should have gave up on my dream, because actually poetry is what got me into politics, the funny thing. I never thought about being in politics at all. But just make sure that you are grounded and you are applying education to your foundation, and you will achieve the highest level of your dream because you're prepared. So prepare for your process, and your process will ultimately make you conquer your purpose. Thank you.
Ambassador, I'm gonna ask a follow-up to that, if I could, Ambassador. When you think about the interview process, and I know that's a lot that our gold medalists are going to go through as part of their journey, what are some things that you think stick out? Is it being authentic? Is it the clarity? Is it the the resume that you have? Like, what are some things that you've seen as part of the interview process with others that are like, this sticks out, or this is how I can shape it? Is it more about experience, about the learnings? Is it about all-inclusive? Like, what are the things that you've seen that can help people guide them through the interview process?
Mm-hmm. Authenticity, that's number one. Because people can read you better than you can read yourself sometimes. And sometimes you don't see yourself because you're you, right? So when you go into the interview process, or even if you're, trying out for a team or whatever you decide to do, people can read if you are real, if you're authentic, if you're lying, if you're being honest. Make sure that what you actually know how to do matches your resume, and make sure your resume matches what you actually know how to do, because when you hit the floor, it's going to show. You want to make sure that you're maintaining yourself. People like to see real people. When you are trying to become successful in a business, people like real experiences, so like I was in the restaurant industry for 17 years. And I did everything from McDonald's, starting out as a teenager, all the way up to McCormick & Schmick, Ruth Chris Steakhouse, general manager, whatever, served, bussed, everything. People value experiences. People value real people. People value when you care about them. And people can feel that exchange. So make sure that, as you go through your interview process, that you're being authentic. I always had to tell myself, when all of those thoughts hit your head when you're nervous for the interview, the reason why you're probably nervous is because you're trying to portray to be something that you think they may like, or that you think they may want. When in actuality and in practicality, they're looking for real people like you. They're looking for you. Show them what you bring to the table. You have a lot that you already have inside of you. So I would say definitely authenticity is the key, and creating real experiences. Connect with them. Don't just see them as like a boss that you're just trying to get a job kind of thing, but find a way that you can build that rapport with them and connect with them. Make them understand why you think that this is the best job, through presenting to them the history, presenting to them your desire to want to learn, presenting to them your dedication. Just like you all went through this process, this is going to be key for your resume. I mean, you already showed and proved. Be the same you that got you here. Be that same you to try to get that job.
Thank you, Ambassador. Mateo, can you talk a little bit about how do you kind of prioritize researching for the right career? Like, what is the right area that I need to be in? You know, is that based upon, you know, where I went to school and my degree, or can you go? I would say this: I was a comms major, and then I went into government affairs. It's kind of different lane, but how do you navigate that?
Thank you, John, for that question. Well, first of all, that's when I believe internships play a great role. For me, it was interesting because when I worked here on the Hill, I said, I am not, with all due respect, I admire people who work here. I just couldn't do it. I had gray hairs at 22, y'all, like, oh, my hair was falling out in chunks. I said, maybe this is not for me. So one of the things, the first is, as you're exploring, say yes to things, because you may end up finding out that is what you do, that is what you love. One of the things for those of y'all, I know all of y'all have done a minimum of 400 hours of community service. I realized that I found my passion by serving. And one of the things that I do want to mention, John, as we are navigating our careers, you all, y'all better listen to this, because I'm going to give this to y'all for free. Y'all got it? I'm going to save a lot of therapy money with this. So you all invest in other people's passion. Sometimes, like when nobody believes in me, well, who do you believe in? You all, because one of the things that at 19 years old, I had the incredible honor of building a shelter for battered women, and people asked me, how did you do it? I said, I've been investing in other people's vision and dreams since I was 13 years old. And so all of a sudden, I had this passion to build a shelter, and everybody, all the naysayers, like, oh, there's no way you can do it. Oh, míralo, who does he think he is? Oh, y'all, I got so many naysayers, and I said, watch me. Y'all don't know this brown man. I said, let me show you what I can do. And y'all, not only did we build one shelter, we ended up purchasing an entire block, 19 buildings. And that was in 3 years. And it's because I invested in other people's dreams. So if I can pass that on as you're getting ready for your career, one is say yes to opportunities, even if you don't like it, because you may end up finding your passion in it. Number two, invest in other people's passion, and they will start investing in you when the time comes. And you all, not to mention the friendships that you would develop along the way, because there's some friends that I have now that I developed when I was volunteering, and it is such an incredible opportunity. So I know that you all have lots of stories. By the way, I would love to hear from you all some of the stories of your volunteer journey, because I think that we find a lot of nuggets and treasures in our giving.
Thank you. Dr. Chavis, and we're going to open it up for Q&A from you all. There's mics on either side that can go to, but I'll ask one more question to Dr. Chavis. One, in leading the National Newspaper Public Association, can you talk a little bit about, and you've probably been through many interviews with a lot of candidates, what are some of the things that you look for, or what are some of the things that come out to you as reasons to continue to move people, or to move people that just don't align with your organization or where it is, or the purpose or the vision that you have?
Well, as an employer, one of the first things I look at before the interview, I look at your social media. I'm checking what you post on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. The reason why, because we identify ourselves by what we publicly attest. There can be a public person and a private person. But when it comes to getting a job, the employer is interested in the public person. Because if they hire you, you represent a company, you represent an organization. And there's something called risk aversion. Most employers want to not take a risk on somebody that's posting nude photos, or take a risk on somebody that's saying something nefarious or racist or anti-Semitic, or all the negative things out there. Now, unfortunately, I'm glad you asked this question. We talked about purpose, we talked about being authentic. Some people think in order to be authentic and personal, I got to put it on this device. So this device becomes your representation of what's on the device. So I would like to just caution you, but also encourage you. I'm not saying retreat from social media, but be deliberate, be intentional, and know this. There's no such thing as deletion. You can delete it, but it's still up there in the cloud. So don't think you can say something crazy and I'll just delete it. No. You say something crazy or post something crazy, it's going to be with you the rest of your life because of your identity. So my immediate recommendation to you is to be careful, to be thoughtful, yes, to be loving, to be caring, but you need to know that, unfortunately, we live in a very judgmental society. People rush to judgment based on what they can gather about you. And there's a new company out there now called Image Restoration, where they charge thousands of dollars to get people to repair what they've done to themselves in their terms of their own posting. But let me just transition, because I know we're going to have questions from the audience. Media is an experience, is impact. We live in a media society. We live in a digital society. AI is going to determine a lot of the future more than anything else. And so we need to get not only a grasp of artificial intelligence, and make sure it's intelligence, because another AI is artificial ignorance. So we want to make sure we're dealing with artificial intelligence. Y'all got me? God bless.
All right, so now we're ready to take questions from you all. What do you guys want to talk about? As I shared, there's a mic on either side. You could ask any of us any questions.
Okay, sure.
Come on up, and we'll alternate. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. I have a question for Dr. Lancaster.
When you come up, please give us your name and where you're from. That would be amazing.
My name is Sumedha Shiram, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. My question for you is, I know how you talked about moving from poetry to politics. What encouraged you to take that step, and could you tell me a little bit about your journey?
Sure, that's an excellent question, Mata, and congratulations. So I've been doing poetry since I was 14. I had an English teacher in about the 8th grade or so that gave us a writing assignment to do poetry. We were studying poetry. And I wrote my first poem. It was called Young Black Woman. She asked, did anyone want to recite their poem? Back then I was very shy, believe it or not. But I was extremely shy, and I decided to say it, and the class gave me a standing ovation. I was very recluse when I was younger because of trauma that I was going through, abuse and things that were happening in my adoptive household. But this gave me a voice. The teacher called me up after class and said, you really have a gift. You should, continue to write and continue to share. I took her advice, and over the years, it opened up doors for me. Showtime at the Apollo, Hollywood, all types of things. A poet really doesn't fit in politics, as you all know, but I was invited to speak for the DC City Council. That the whole council was in attendance, and former Mayor Sharon Pratt Kelly. I was asked to do a poem, and the poem was Passion. And after I said it, Honorable Sharon Pratt Kelly said, have you ever considered politics? And I said, no, I don't really like politics. I'm a free spirit, and she said, but you have such a powerful voice. She said, it seems like you're an activist. I said, yeah, I do activism work. And she said, okay, well, have you ever considered that you may be able to go so far with that, but what if you understood legislation and you could actually change the laws of what you're passionate about? And I said, wow, I never thought about that. And I think that's important that, and I think Mateo and everybody has said, just
be open to your journey, because don't limit it to, it has to go this way, step A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Just different doors will appear. And I didn't initially follow her advice. I just kind of put it away, tucked it away. And it came back up later on when I did a poem at another political event that I was asked to come to. And someone had told me, have you ever considered, running for office? And I said, someone mentioned that to me years ago, and I don't think I want to do that. They said, well, there's a ANC commissioner, that stands for Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner, position in your local ward. You should consider running. And I thought about it. I took them up on the offer. I got a mentor, and I ended up winning the seat, which is crazy to me. But I was able to, it's similar to what you all do. Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner is someone that uses their passion to help people locally. So you're over about 2,000 residents, and there are like maybe 170-something commissioners all across the city in all 8 wards. And your job is just to be there for the people. So if it's like people that complain about trash pickup, nuisance, noise ordinances, anything. I've had people knock on my door for sugar at 12 a.m. It's really just you being a servant to your constituents, and that took its own role. So I would say definitely, allow your life to unfold, and don't box it, because it could be the very thing that opens up what your dream is. And so that's how I would answer that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. So, panel, we're just going to do 1-minute answers so we can kind of get to everybody, but we're going to start on this side. Please share your name and where you're from.
Yes, hello, I am William Bache from Louisville, Kentucky. I just want to first thank you all for the work you do for the betterment of society. Dr. Chavez, thank you for your work in civil rights. If you had one word to describe your journey professionally with that, what would it be and why?
Thank you. Very good question. I'll give you a short answer. The first African-American billionaire in America was Reginald F. Lewis. And I asked him once, Reggie, give me one word out of the English language that contributed to your financial success. That word was preparation. You're preparing yourselves as congressional awardees. You go to school, you're preparing yourself. And I think that sometimes people get involved in things unprepared, and you don't have the kind of success that you should succeed. So my answer to you is be prepared.
Can I just echo that again? In corporate America, it's about getting up early, making sure you're prepared for your meetings, making sure you're prepared, you understand what questions you might get, and having a solution to that. Like, that is the key to, I think, a lot of our success here is preparation. So thank you, Dr. Chavez. We're gonna go on this side.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I was really inspired by all of your words and stories, but I have a question for Dr. Chavez, more specific in your career path.
Can you share your name and where you're from?
Oh, sorry. I'm Ayan Mahajan. I'm from New York, Albertson. All right. My question to you is, what is your best advice or best ways for someone to get involved into social advocacy and grassroots movements?
Thank you. Very important question. The best way to prepare and to get engaged in social action is to be involved where you live. Don't get on a plane and go someplace that you hardly know and try to be an activist. Be an activist where you live, where you work, where you go to church, or what synagogue or what mosque or whatever temple you go to. Because particularly at a young age, you're laying your foundation for your journey. And you can be in applied science or social science. No matter what your discipline, you want to make sure that what's in the book that you're learning applies to what you're doing in real life in community. I'm a professor also at Duke University, and all the classes, professors are told, make sure your students understand their lived experience. I tell my students, this is not my class, it's your class. I'm here to help you. I want you to be a better person as a result of this class. So social activism, to answer your question, begins at home, begins with you. Your thought process is how you prepare. And it's okay if you don't have the answer. Challenges, as I said earlier, helps sharpen your mind and help you to navigate, because it's not a straight path to success. You know, if that was the case, we wouldn't need to have this panel. There are many detours, there are many curves, there are many hills, there are many hurdles. But your determination, you can get through and around all of that.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Hello, my name is Sanvi Perry. I'm from Long Island, New York. Thank you all for your insights. It was very insightful and helpful. But I had a question for Mr. Magdaleno. I just wanted to ask what your journey was to get to creating those women's shelters and all your advocacy work.
So thank you for that question, and again, congratulations. One of the, I think for me, it was being able to endure people saying no to me. So when you're doing this type of work, there's going to be a lot of people that say no to you. And all I needed was one yes. And it came from a foundation called the Meadows Foundation. And they looked at the proposal that we were that we've submitted, and they said yes to this little 19-year-old. And I had a group of, I call them my personal board of directors. And so surround yourself by a personal board of directors that guide you. And like me, I would have loved to have had both of y'all on my personal board of directors. We'll talk about it later. But and you too, all of y'all. I'm sorry, you too, of course, John. Actually, all of y'all. Actually, y'all too. Anybody who wants to join. But surrounding yourself with people that have been where you want to go, and then going towards that dream. And also position yourself, make it really hard for people to say no to you by knowing who their board of directors are. So I did a lot of work behind the scenes. So when I finally made the ask for people to support us in this shelter for battered women, that they were in a position where they wanted to say yes to me. So excellent question, and thank you.
Hello, I'm Mihika Seth. I'm from Alpharetta, Georgia, and this question's for anybody on the panel. Are there any biographies or books that influenced you in your career?
Poetry books.
Poetry books?
Any type, and actually I'm a movie buff, so any type of, I'm more visual, and I do reading, but I love a good documentary because it expresses what's really going on. I think that anything that piques your interest as far as what you're trying to do, anything that you can relate to, you should read. Anything that you think can inspire you, you should listen to. It can be documentaries, it can be movies, it can be books. Well, now you can, listen to books online, of course. Always be feeding your mind, because when you do read and when you listen to other perspectives, it stretches you. So I think that it's very important to, get books like Dr. Ben Chavez, get books on your history, your native history, so whatever your race is, whatever your religion. Religious books are very good to read, of course, because you definitely want to keep God first along your journey, because you're going to need that spiritual aspect to fall back on when it doesn't look like it's happening as fast as you want it to happen. So I would say, anything that motivates or inspires you, but be open to different perspectives and read things that you normally wouldn't read. You know what I mean? Like, step out and branch out. Don't box yourself in. And the more that you input in your mind and in your spirit, the more of a perspective you'll have for global world change, instead of just your, just these are my people, this is my tribe, and this is all I'm going to study. Study everybody, study all types of religions, study all types of people, backgrounds, history. Understand, read Black history so you understand Black history. Read Indian, Native American culture, history so you can understand what they went through. So when you're meeting a person, you're not just meeting just them, but you're meeting their ancestors and you're meeting who they are, their lineage. Step out and read things that are different from what you would normally read, but also read what you love.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Surya Anand. I'm from Denton, Texas. I just wanted to thank all of you for your time. Your stories are truly inspiring. My question to any of you on the panel is, what is the single most important piece of advice that you've received on your journey to success?
Gosh, it's hard to think of a single one. I think, wow, that's a tough one. I can't lie. I will say for me, it was family. Always remembering where I came from, my upbringing, how I didn't forget my journey. I didn't forget what put me in this position. My mom was a small business owner. And we lived in the projects, and then we got to just learn from around me. I also didn't take no as an excuse. I took it no as an opportunity. I think that's the biggest thing. To find a different way to do something really had my biggest impact. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jackson Bunnan. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I wanted to thank all of you for coming out here today and speaking to us. I had a question for Mr. Magdalena, which is, you talked about briefly how you dealt with negativity about your voice when you were a young kid, and as you grew into much bigger positions with the Dallas Cowboys and spokesperson at McDonald's, how did you deal with negativity, as those are major companies, and I'm sure from fans and people listening to you, you dealt with a lot. How did you deal with that, and did you ever doubt yourself, and how did you get through that doubt?
Wow, Jackson, thank you for that question. Wow, I'm like you, John, like, man, I think we're surrounded by a lot of negativity, Jackson, and what happens, and I think I shared this with earlier, is surrounding yourself. I love music. And the way that I drown out all the negativity in my life is nothing, for me, is praise and worship. I'll be jamming in my car like, yes, come on, hey, I'm more than a conqueror. And so sometimes you gotta hype yourself up. You gotta so I think that's one way that I cope with it. Also, I don't wanna underestimate the power of therapy, right? And so I've been very fortunate to these past 2 years to really embrace therapy in my life. And I think sometimes it's when you're stuck, because it's very difficult to drown out when so many people, when there's so much when you're surrounded by so much negativity. One is inspire yourself and motivate yourself. My best motivational speech was when I was in the restroom. Oh my gosh, I was taking a shower like, Rob Mateo, don't you let, you can do anything you want. You're more than a conqueror. So whatever you need to do to be able, so for me, that's what works. And then second is surrounding yourself by people who love you. And I'll leave it with this, Jackson. Sometimes, and that's actually, this goes for everyone, you all, sometimes we focus our energy on making people who don't love us make them love us, instead of focusing on the people who stay in your life that love you already. Focus your energy on that, and your life will be completely different. So don't be focusing on these naysayers. Focus on the people that love you and pour into you. And that will be, even as an adult, is something that I have to keep reminding myself. So if somebody don't love you, just keep on moving. You better shake them haters off and just keep on walking, and then appreciate the people who stayed in your life, Jackson. Thank you for the question. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rohan Khanna, and I'm from Lake Forest, California. Thank you all for the inspiring and insightful words that you gave us today. So I had a question for Dr. Lancaster. So I know you talked a lot about balancing practicality with passion and pursuing that in like the professional world. So I started a education nonprofit, and I'm very passionate about like education for underprivileged children. But I wanted your perspective on how I could balance that with the practical aspect of having a career.
Well, that can be your career. if that's your passion. Anything dealing with youth, it rules the world. Same with you all. You are the leaders and the future of today and tomorrow. I think that if you have so many passions, right? My good friend Erica, we were talking about this earlier. I get the question a lot, how are you able to do so many different things? I think for me, I don't really focus on one thing. If my goal is world change, and my focus is helping the youth, right? So this is part of my passion, is dealing with the youth, and I mentor youth. So if that's my passion, that's one thing. So I have to apply the practicality of studying the youth, mentoring the youth to understand what your mind is, how you all think, what's important to you, so that I can, apply what you need, help with. But also in a practical way, if I wanted to make that a career, then I would, go to school and study adolescents' behavioral patterns. I would study, maybe psychology, maybe even anatomy. Like, for example, a lot of people don't know this, but I was a massage therapist too. So, and I kind of stumbled on that while I was doing poetry and entertainment, and then, then I stumbled into the politics. So whatever I was focused on, then I just made sure to apply certifications to that, wisdom, knowledge, reading books, education, certifications, and getting with people that, can mentor me in what it is that I love. And so I would say you don't want to do too many things, because then, they say jack of all trades, master, of none, right? So you want to maybe pick a couple things to kind of hone in on and focus in on, so that things don't become overbearing. And that will cut down on the weight and the pressure of having to perform, which, lands us in counseling, and so, be idealistic, and dream, but just pick a couple things that you can focus in on, and hone those. As you accomplish and master, you want to get to mastery at something. Once you master that, then you can add something to the plate. You get what I'm saying? Take your time. Make sure, and I'm going to tell everybody, take your time. Don't rush. It's going to happen regardless. As long as you are inputting, now I'm talking like AI, as long as you're putting something in, you're going to get a return on your investment. So, it's okay to say, and it's also okay to say, you know what, I can't focus on this for the next year. I can put this on pause, let me focus on the youth, and pick this back up later. It's okay to shelf something and then come back to it later as well.
So you're saying to master things one at a time and then move to the next one?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we only have about 5 more minutes, but I want to get to as many questions as possible. Just want the panelists to know, but we'll start here. We will have time after. There's a little holding area where we can ask follow-ups too.
My suggestion is, let us listen to all the questions, and then we try to incorporate an answer. That way, all the young people get a chance to speak.
All right, I'm with it.
Hi, my name's Ananya, and I'm from California. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. My question is for any one of you, and it's, what do you tell yourself when you feel like your goals are unachievable or you feel unmotivated?
Sorry, I'm a little bit vertically challenged, but I wanted to ask, so first of all, thank you for giving us your experience. And Mr. Magdaleno, I felt like I was really there when you were at the shelter. And Dr. Chavez, I feel like I really wanted to be on that bus that you took to see MLK. Or, Dr. Lancaster, when you were saying, you were giving that poetry, I guess that first poem that you gave to your class, I felt like I wanted to cheer for you. So I feel that too when I'm with kids and they really bring out the inner child in me. And I was wondering, how did you end up where you ended up now in your career? And especially what is your role now in education, and how did you know that was the best place for you? Okay. Oh.
Okay.
We're going to take all the questions and then.
Oh, okay, got it. Good morning. My name is Wani. I'm from California, and this is open to any one of you. My question was just on your journey to get to where you are now, how much of your success would you say is attributed to hard work, dedication, and passion, but also luck and being in the right place at the right time?
Hello, I'm Michael from Maryland, and I would like to thank everyone for taking the time out of their day to give us this advice. And my question is, I noticed a lot of you have changed different industries or went into different companies. And how do you know when it's the right time to change into different industries or companies? And is it kind of planned or is it more spontaneous? So that's my question.
Hi, my name is Orvila Tanchi. I'm from El Paso, Texas, and I just wanted to ask, what is your advice for kind of getting into international service work, and what's your advice for just trying to truly make an impact?
Hi, my name is Lucy Lampkin, and I'm from Orlando, Florida, and my question was for anyone, any advice you have when collaborating with people in the face of disagreement? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Selene Turcos. I'm from San Jose, California. Thank you all so much for your time. It was a lovely panel. I wanted to ask, I'm sure none of the success came easy to you, and you faced a lot of situations where you had to make sacrifices. So how did you balance your work life with your personal life? In the process of your success, how did you not lose yourself?
Hello, I'm Lisa Stephen, and I'm from Florida. Dr. Lancaster, so I'm actually a singer-songwriter, so you starting out as a poet really resonated with me. And sometimes I wonder, I kind of fear that I'm going to end up with a really good career in a different line, but miss out on my passion. So my question is, do you miss poetry? How do you feel about that? Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna combine them all, but can we talk about just overall the work-life balance piece, the determination that it took, the dedication to get through? Let's add in the international piece of it, to the comments. I think I'll start there, and then we could kind of keep going.
Give it to me one more time. Work-life balance.
Work-life balance. We're going to talk about passion, dedication, the international piece of it. I think the education piece. What looks for, what comes out of that. Those are all the kind of big topics.
And I think I touched on a little bit. I tried to touch on work-life balance, and that was an excellent question. It's difficult. I'm gonna be honest with you. All the adults, raise your hand. Would you say work-life balance is difficult? Amen. Even at this age, right? And I'm 43. It's something that you have to figure out over time because everybody's situation is different. You may be married, you may be single, you may have children, you may not have children. In this arena that you all are in, say Congress or politics or Senate, is very demanding. I mean, extremely. You may have to miss weeks or months from your family. Those are things to start thinking about now, and I'm so glad that she mentioned that, because when you get in it and you're just kind of on your track and you're, investing, and then you get to that place, you don't want to take no for an answer because you put all of that work into it. And what ends up happening is you do start forgetting all the people that care about you around you. You start, forgetting sometimes about your children, your spouse, things like that. And so make sure that you don't lose your foundation. And how you do that is you make sure you're spending time with the people that you care about most. Your career is never more important than your foundation, because if your career fails, you're going to fall back on your family. But if your family's not there, or if you lose your spouse during the process of trying to chase your career or sacrifice your spouse for your career, then you'll end up lonely but successful. But is that really success? So just make sure that you are balancing your time, and make sure that you're keeping people around you that are keeping you grounded so that you don't get arrogant egotistical. You know, it's like, hey, I'm the senator, or I'm the commissioner, or I'm the, you know, always remember, and I think you all said it, remember your humble beginnings. Remember those that were with you all of the way and that are sitting with you right now, because guess what? At this age, or when you're 50, your mom is still going to be there. Your father is still going to be there. So keep your foundation. In terms of international change or world change, you can't change the world outside until you change the world inside. Start with yourself first. You are your greatest battle to win. Don't focus on outside wins. Focus on the inside win, because when you win on the inside, you will begin to show that love on the outside. You begin to show people that light that you have inside. And that's going to bring about the change, because people are going to want to emulate your light. They're going to want to emulate what it is that you do. So I think, and one of the young ladies, not to jump the question, had talked about the inner child. Let me tell you all something. And adults, raise your hand if you still have your inner child with you right now. Okay, so the thing about the inner child, and I'm a trauma counselor that deals with the inner child, is that your inner child never goes anywhere. Your inner, and for those that don't understand that term, inner child is the person that went through, may have gone through certain things when you were a child. It's how your inner self developed, based upon how your parents taught you, how they reared you, the life experiences that you had. And for some, if there was trauma during your childhood, you could be stuck at a certain age even though you're an adult. If you were abused at 8 years old, you could still be a grown person, but internally, you still emotionally process things like an 8-year-old child, because that was never confronted or dealt with. So make sure you're doing that inner work, if it's counseling, if it's journalizing, if it's poetry. I think the young lady said she's a songwriter. Figure out creative ways and creative therapy in ways that you can express yourself, in positive ways, of course, and that will help that inner child to be able to grow on the inside as you grow on the outside.
So we are at time, and we're a little bit behind, but Dr. Chavis, I wanted you to kind of close this out.
Thank you. I'll be succinct. The young people today in this room, you represent millions of young people who are not in this room. So in a sense, you're privileged. Don't take your privilege for granted. I come today as an optimist, not a pessimist. The youth of America, across all lines of race, across all lines of class, whether you're in the rural or urban area, the youth of America today are the best generation, the most intelligent, the most gifted, the most talented. Exposed to the most information. Young people in elementary school get information that graduate students used to get. So my closing remark to you is, if you're the best, the most talented, most gifted, please, please don't waste what God has given you. Don't underestimate who you are and where you are and what you have to give. Those of us who are adults, our responsibility is to encourage our young people. There's so much out there that discourages young people, and they get distracted, and they get in places that maybe not are good places. But all that can be changed. So to me, this congressional awards session with these young people, I pray that we can have 1 million young people in here to get the understanding and the lessons that we share with you today. God bless you, and thank you for who you are and what you will become.
Thank you. This session is ended. Congratulations to you all. Thank you to our panelists. Appreciate you all taking time today.
Quick question. Did she want to ask a question right here? Because I saw her signaling that she wanted to, and I want to, I want to make sure she should be heard. She should be heard. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to say thank you all for coming here today and speaking with us. I really appreciate this time and be able to visit the Capitol and to receive my award. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Erica?